everybody, what's going on? So I'd like to introduce you to episode 1 of hopefully many episodes of the ForneverWorld podcast. Alongside with me will be my co-host for this show, ShintaiReviews, also known as, what are you going by nowadays?
Just Daniel Santos.
Daniel Santos. Please, Daniel, let my audience know who you are, what your experience in the anime and manga realm is, and in general, a little bit about yourself so they can get familiar.
Hey everyone, my name's Daniel. So I have a YouTube channel where I talk about like video games and anime. My history, I guess you could call it, of anime. Like I guess you could say it went back with Toonami back in the 90s, and watching stuff like Dragon Ball Z and Gundam Wing. But I think when I became like a full-blown anime fan was when I watched Cowboy Bebop back on Adult Swim, and then I started watching stuff like Yu Yu Hakusho and Outlaw Star and Rurouni Kenshin, and kind of just steamrolled from there. And I guess you could call me a 90s kid in that respect. Just my taste in anime is very much that era. But I still like some modern stuff as well. I'm not as up to date with like modern anime as like you are for ForneverWorld, but like I still I'll occasionally jump in. Like I saw Beastars recently, which I thought was really good.
Yes.
Beastars was really dope. Kaguya-sama Loves War, I really enjoyed that show as well. So yeah, like if you're an anime fan, you may know me as like the guy that made that Shiro video where I compare the Unlimited Blade Works anime to the visual novel, and because of that I'm kind of seen as like the Fate guy. So
yeah, just to give you guys a warning, he loves him some Fate, the Fate franchise, which is not wrong because Fate is absolutely amazing. And in fact, just give a little backstory real quick for people before we get started. Me and Shintai, we've been friends now, I want to say like 9 years almost. Something like, yeah. Oof. Shit, we're getting old. Oh yeah, it's been a while. Like early onto this, me and Shintai been cool. So it's not like this is some random guy. This is my dude. We've been cool for a long time. And one of the cool things, and I felt like it would bring an interesting dynamic to doing this, because I wanted to do a podcast for so long, but I always thought like I want to do it with somebody that it would be an interesting show, but also that I'm familiar with, so that way the dialogue could be genuine.
Yeah.
Basically, with Shintai, he's not really in the realm of like, he's not caught up to date with like the Borutos and stuff like that, although he's seen Naruto back in the day. But the interesting thing about it is where we can have a dialogue about different type of series as well, or different type of topics in the anime and manga realm, because he is very well versed in a lot of anime and manga greatness. So I thought it'd be an interesting show, and I wanted to give it a try. And what better way than to start off a show with one of your very good friends, you know what I mean?
Of course, I feel the same way.
All right, so without further ado, let's start off with the first topic, and that topic is all of the massive delays in the anime and manga realm, from anime to manga, publications, movies, and shit like that. First of all, before we jump into the list, Shintai, what are some of the shows that you've been hit with? Has any series that you follow or you were looking forward to been hit with delays because of everything that's going on in the world right now?
The biggest one, and you know what I'm gonna say, is the third Heaven's Feel movie.
Yeah.
Why you gotta do this to me? Why?
Yo, that Ufotable greatness. Ufotable been making big moves in the mainstream too. Like Demon Slayer put a lot of people on that really weren't familiar with Ufotable and didn't understand what they were doing in the realm of like the Fate franchise and stuff like that. And now they're on the map. Like people don't, like before it used to be, I remember for many years like after Hunter x Hunter and stuff, everybody used to scream Madhouse, greatest studio of all time. Then Demon Slayer hit, and people got hip to Ufotable, and everybody's like, Ufotable! Madhouse is cool, but...
Now people are like, wait a minute, who are these guys? What?
Yeah.
Because their style is so unique, right? Like when you look at any of their anime, immediately you can tell, oh, that's Ufotable. And there's only like a few other studios I think you could say that about. Like when you see like Shaft, right? Like, okay, yeah, that's definitely Shaft. But like, that's not a common thing. I'd say like a lot of other studios that have kind of like a homogenous style. Like all of them kind of like look similar to each other. But Ufotable, you know exactly what a Ufotable anime looks like when you see it.
Oh man, I wonder what they're gonna do next. Like, well, I guess they're really knee deep in Demon Slayer, and with the crazy success, which we're gonna get into that later as well. I don't see them really jumping into a lot of other stuff. But let's check out this list. All right. So for starters, and it's a long list, so I'm gonna sprint through some of it. That time I got reincarnated as a slime season 2, delayed to January and July of 2021. The Slime Diaries, that time I got reincarnated as a slime, delayed to April. So 2 slime. I've heard these actual series are good. A lot of people like them. So 2 of those.
Yeah, I heard they're good.
X Arm, delayed to fall or later. Nanatsu no Taizai Fundo no Shinpan, the 7 Deadly Sins Anger's Judgment. I'll be honest with you, and the only people that I feel bad for is if any of the people that work, the staff themselves, are like affected financially by it. Definitely a bad thing. But in terms of the show itself, delay that shit till 2222 or something, because
whoa,
yo, I don't know if you've seen what the last season of the 7 Deadly Sins looked like, but it is horrendous. I mean, a fall from grace would be an understatement to call what this show has done with the latest season.
Just in terms of how it looks, or like, are they adapting it like badly as well? Like, are they just doing like a bad job in general?
Mainly the art and animation. I mean, like season 1 was immaculate. I loved season 1. It looked great. Like, people would argue there was a little bit of changes here or there, but most manga readers argue about every anime having changes. Whatever. Season 1 was great. Season 2, still with the same studio, and I'm talking about the full-on season 2 because they had like a 4-episode OVA on Netflix that people consider. No, I'm talking about the full-on season 2 with the 10 Commandments. People had issues with it. They said it didn't look as great as it could have been. There was some fights that should have looked better, but still, it was like, okay, it's passable, it's alright. There was some great moments, whatever. But then the latest season, in particular, a major fight with the main character Meliodas and Escanor. Oh my god, it was absolute garbage. Like, it looked so bad. It was like flash animation, it was just bad. And I'm just like, how do you let that happen? Now, people would argue a lot of it has to do with the fact that the movie flopped, and because they actually handed it over to, funny enough, shit, I can't think of the studio right now. What's the studio that did the original Fate Stay Night animation, Ty? Dean got their hands on the Fate franchise after the movie. I'm sorry, not the Fate. They had their hands on the Fate. Thank goodness they lost their hands on that. Dean got their hands on the 7 Deadly Sins, and it's a train wreck. So seeing the delay, if anything, maybe this is a blessing in disguise, so that they have time to work on this and make it not look like complete rabbit droppings, because that's what that last season was. Like, it was horrendous. Major fights botched, disgusting. So yeah, I'm not mad at that at all. Yeah,
I mean, you know, to be fair to Dean, like, they have done some good anime. Like, they did the Fruits Basket anime, that was good, but like, got play into their strengths, and I don't think this show is like they're not good with action.
What was that Yuri anime that I had watched? Oh man, remember that terrible Yuri anime that Dean did as well? We were like, yo,
yeah.
Was it Sakura Trick? Sakura Trick?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh.
I remember when it came out, everyone trashed it, but then they would turn around and be like, okay, but the girls kissing was pretty nice though.
Yeah.
But the show was trash. Like,
but like, just in terms, like, okay, you go from a botched Fate anime, which we've seen what Ufotable did with it because the source material is so incredible, and then you add some a quality studio, boom, out of here, all over Japan, everywhere. So how do you fall from already a botched Fate anime to then doing some random Yuri series and then botching an IP like the Seven Deadly Sins? Like, Studio Dean, get your shit together. Now, I'll throw them a bone and say that, because people have been saying that a lot of those episodes and most of the season was handed off to a third-party studio aside from Dean. So it was like A1 Pictures gave it to Dean, and then Dean used a lot of B and C studios to do their work. But it's still, who's the fault goes on? It goes on Dean, right? They're the ones in charge.
I mean, probably.
So
I mean, the thing is though, like, that's a shame, because A1 Pictures, they're really great animators. Like, you know, I know a lot of people feel one way or the other about them because of Sword Art Online. But if you put aside how you feel about the quality of the show itself and the writing, I think one thing you can't take away from Sword Art Online is how great the animation is.
Yeah.
So, like, if you give A1 Studios good material, right, they're going to produce a show of high quality.
Yeah, and then we have Dean. I'm sorry.
We have Dean.
I shouldn't be that hard on Dean, but damn, man, what they did to the Seven Deadly Sins is disgusting.
Mean, dude, I can't be too mad at Dean, because at the same time, they did Rurouni Kenshin Trust and Betrayal.
No way.
Yeah, that was them.
Wow. That's a film or OVAs, whatever you want to call it, that had stood.
Yeah, it's an OVA.
It stood the test of time, especially from what I've seen with the Blu-ray remasters. Gorgeous, like what they did with Yu Yu Hakusho. They took like 90s and frame by frame, like that's gorgeous. And it's like, well, you got to
beautiful.
It's the same studio by name, but the staff, I'm imagining, is vastly different from, you know, same staff of like what, 24 years ago or some shit.
No, yeah, like the people, I can't imagine that the people that worked on, you know, Trust and Betrayal back in the day are the same people working there now, right? Like, very different.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on. We got Hakushon Daimyo 2020, episode 8 delayed to June 20 or later. Duel Masters King. Duel Masters, I used to watch that back in the day. That was a fun little show. Resuming from episode 5, May 31st. Then we got Skate Leading Stars. Mucal Dreamy. I don't even know how to pronounce that shit. Strike the Blood, a new season of Strike the Blood. I remember I had watched like the first episode of that back in the day, maybe even 2, and I really didn't care for it. You remember Strike the Blood at all?
I think I've heard of it, but I never watched it.
Yeah, that volume 2 delayed to July 29th. Kyoshin to Hyoka no Shiro. No idea what's that, but that's been delayed. Major Second Season 2 resuming from episode 5 May 30th. That's a baseball series, if I'm not mistaken. And I heard it's pretty good, too.
Cool.
Zoids Wild Zero.
What?
Zoids got something going? Whoa.
Dude, I used to watch Zoids back on Toonami back in the day, man. Like, what?
Well, then. Okay. A certain...
No, yeah. It's obviously it's like not the same show anymore, I would imagine. Like, if I didn't even know Zoids was still going. Like, that blows my mind.
Oh shit. Okay. A certain scientific railgun T. How many certain scientific railguns anime are they making? Holy cow.
That's a weird series. I've like, so what is that? Is the shtick that, like, it's about waifus, but your waifu can turn to a gun? Like,
I honestly, as many times as I heard of it, I want to say I might even own a season of it back in my crazy obsession of buying anime days. Like, I used to buy everything. Like, I want to say I even had bought a season of it, and I just never checked it out. Like, there's just so much of it. Like, where do I begin? A railgun A, B, C? Like, where what's the first railgun? You know?
I don't know. Railgun Zero.
Oh gosh. Okay, then let's see. We got Maetsetsu, delayed to October. Warlords of Sigdrifa, delayed to October. This is a big one. I know a lot of people are upset about it. Haikyuu to the Top's second half. They don't have a date for that, but I know Haikyuu is humongous. It just did very well manga sales wise. Everybody in the community talks about it. I've told this story before, but I've seen the first half of the first season of it, and I really enjoyed it. But then I, at the time, got into Kuroko and forgot about it. And yeah, not to say that Kuroko's better, but I love the Kuroko. I'm a basketball dude. Do you ever check out Haikyuu?
I never checked out Haikyuu, but I loved Kuroko.
Yeah, that was basketball with Dragon Ball Z type of craziness. Like,
yeah, it was the hypest shit. It's like some of the shit that they would do is just like dumb, like it didn't make sense, but it didn't matter. It was hype. It was like the music, the direction. It was just like, this is awesome. Like I remember one moment in particular where like the guy was like in midair and he did a fake out where he like he shot the ball almost. He almost was going to shoot the ball, but what he did was just like he pushed the ball a little bit so that it would go back into his hand, and then he would throw it. And I'm like, that probably makes no sense, but that's hype.
Dude, the zone, that shit was so hype when they would go into the zone.
Yeah. And you start like going really, really fast.
And the dude that could throw like make 3-pointers or even higher, like, well, not higher, you could only make 3-pointers, but like, you know, he would shoot like midway from half court and still make a basket. I'd be like, yo, and, oh man. And there was also like that Kakashi motherfucker. He was like, he could copy anybody's like play style, the way they play, and duplicate it. It's been so many years. Kuroko's shit. And I don't know how the hell we went into a whole Kuroko rant off of Haikyuu, but damn it, Kuroko is amazing.
Dude, I don't know about you, but Kuroko himself always gave me L vibes, like Death Note. Like,
I could see that.
He always reminded me of L, just the way that he acted. He just didn't have like, you know, the bags under his eyes, but like the way he looked and acted always reminded me of him. Even
his like the way his personality, the way his like play style is, if you think about it, very strategic, very like you don't know exactly when he's going to steal the ball or whatever. That was his ability, right? To be able to steal. No, it was to pass undetected. That's what it was. Yeah,
like he was so like just unknown, or for whatever reason he was so like unassuming that like people would forget that he's there. Like
yo, Kuroko's the shit, man. I'm mad that they ended that. And then he tried to come back with a golf manga, Robot X Laser Beam. That was what it was called, and it failed terribly.
Robot X Laser Beam, and it's a golf thing. What?
Yeah, I don't know what dude was going for. I remember I reviewed the first chapter and I was like, yeah, it's okay. I can see where he's going with it. He was basically trying to do the same thing he did with Kuroko with golf, if I'm not mistaken, like, you know, having crazy powers or some shit. I think that's where he was going with it. Again, I only read the first chapter.
Okay, but it's golf.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, look at Haikyuu, volleyball. I'm not a big volleyball, unless it's like some really hot chicks playing. I don't really care to see volleyball, but Haikyuu's awesome. So, you know.
No, like, but the thing is, I can see volleyball being like a cool sport to watch an anime about, but golf? I don't know. Maybe I'm just being ignorant.
Watch there be somebody in the comments, you freaking idiots, you don't even understand the intricacies of golf. It's so like, you're right, okay? You're right.
I'm not trashing golf as a sport. I'm just saying I don't know how you could make it an interesting anime. Like
here's how. You focus on everything except the actual golf. Like, you make really interesting characters. You make, like, you know, great relationships. You make it that the golfing is a small segue in between the interactions between the characters, and let's just say like the main character Jeff and his girlfriend Jenny or some shit, like, you know, they're having some problems, and then like he goes to play golf and then to get away from Jenny for a bit, and then he gets like blown up on his phone so he can't swing his club. Like maybe something like that'd be cool.
Make it so what you're saying is, to make a good golf anime, you have to make sure that it's not about golf.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh shit.
You know,
We cracked the code.
There you go. That's the way to make a proper golf series, you know?
Because when you were talking about Jeff and Jenny, I was like, I could vibe with this. This sounds good.
He's
like, he can't play properly because of Jenny. And it's like, yeah. I don't want to see him play, though.
Every time we get to like the golf segment, something interrupts them, so we don't actually have to see the golf in progress. Like something like he gets a phone call, a truck runs into the actual golf course that they're in and like splatters some shit. Like something bad always happens to stop the golfing, and then maybe in the end the character decides to hang his golf club up because he realizes the universe is trying to tell him golf ain't for him.
Conspiring against him.
Yeah. There we go.
At first, I thought you were saying like the finale would be the final episode is you actually get to see him play golf.
Oh no, nobody want to see that.
And then it's the worst episode.
You know, it's like he's about to swing his club. We're finally gonna see him play golf, and then it just goes to a black screen. The end.
Credits.
And it has like the most epic. Oh shoot.
I would watch it.
Yeah, we went completely off trail from Haikyuu to basketball to golf to yeah. Okay, next up, Higurashi When They Cry, Higurashi no Naku Koro ni. I love, and I know I want to say, if I remember correctly, you had a very different opinion than me. I love When They Cry. I think that you turn off all your lights, you make it dark, maybe you ideally by yourself in the room, put on, I remember the first season. The second season is a bit different. That's where I feel the quality comes in of the actual show. First season is just like, it's creepy to me. It's like these little creepy kids that is like murderers and psychos, and it's interesting the way it's done, because I want to say they kept it true to like being a visual novel adaptation, whereas like you get 4 episodes and then it does a different route in a sense, and then you find out that it all connects. Like I loved When They Cry. What was it? You didn't like When They Cry, or you were disappointed? I forgot.
Well, I was mixed on it, and it's also just like not my kind of show, mostly because like you said, the first season in particular, like that stuff grossed me out to the point like I didn't want to watch anymore. Like some of the stuff was too much for me, and I normally don't get like that, but there was something about that show that it creeped me out to the point where I'm like, I just wanted to not watch anymore. It was too much.
Well, hey, maybe that was its job. Maybe that's what it was trying to do.
Yep. Hey, fair enough. Fair enough. Like it fucked with me. It fucked with me good. And if that's what they were trying to do, bravo. They succeeded with flying colors. Like, goddamn.
I want to say I watched all the way through to like I watched the first season. I watched the second season, which if you watch the second season, someday you decide, you know what, I'm going to give it a shot again. That's where all the answers come in. It actually.
I did watch season 2. I did. I watched the whole thing.
And you still didn't really dig it?
Well, like I actually did like season 2. I just didn't like season 1 because, like I said, like the stuff that grossed me out just like really messed with me. Cause like dude, that one girl, I'm not gonna spoil who did what to whatever, but like that one girl was nailing the dude's fingers. Like Just stuff like that really gets to me. Like,
the one
really
chick
messes with me.
bashing her head into the spike that was sticking out of the.
Wasn't it a knife?
No,
She was
it was like
she was bashing her head into the knife.
Was it a knife? I thought it was like a big nail that was like hanging out of the side of the wall. She just kept on bashing her head into it. Maybe it was a knife. I'm not sure.
I remember a knife. Either way,
either way, still fucked up.
Oh man, it's really, really screwed up show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it definitely sticks true to its genre, because there's a lot of series out there, like even Tokyo Ghoul, as much as I love and adore that series, that call themselves a horror. No, Higurashi When They Cry, that's a horror anime right there. That's gonna scare you, creep you, all sorts of shit.
Yeah, again, like for me it was like a personal thing, just because like it really does like fuck with you, like really bad.
Yeah. Alrighty. Next up, Hypnosis Mic Division Rap Battle. Delayed October. That's crazy. I didn't know that there was some rap battle anime. I had no idea.
Hypnosis rap what?
That I gotta check that shit out. Okay then.
Okay, yeah, whatever. Like, hey, the title has me intrigued. I'll give it that.
That's an interesting title, because like I don't think there's ever been any type of rap or hip hop related stuff aside from like Killer Bee and Naruto. So, I mean, it could be good. Who knows? I don't know how much I trust, like an anime to bring something like that to life, especially like hip hop culture is more of an American thing. So for Japanese to handle something like that just doesn't seem like it would work. But you never know.
Well, I mean, there's some Japanese rappers out there like Lotus Juice.
Yeah, but it wouldn't resonate. Like, maybe over there it might resonate, but like for an American audience, I mean, I guess depending on how it's handled, again, like, going back to the golf discussion, like, we don't know how much the rapping itself will be involved in the show, or the culture, or the hip-hop culture. But maybe, from a perspective of looking at it, of seeing the Japanese side of hip-hop culture and what theirs is like, might be enjoyable, a different experience. I just don't think that they'd be able to properly showcase hip-hop culture, because it's more of, again, a Western United States type of thing. Like, it's just now.
Right. No, I hear you.
And I'm not trying to sound ignorant, because hip-hop is blowing up. It's all everywhere. There's UK rappers, everything. So I'm not trying to say that hip-hop is only in America. I'm just mainly saying that that's where it started. That's the ground roots. And, in Japan, to dive into that, it just, I don't know. It could come off crazy or wild, or I don't know.
Or corny.
Okay. Next up, Pokemon Twilight Wings, episode 5. I wonder, Twilight Wings, that's not the new Pokemon. I mean, I think that's like some sort of spin-off that they're doing or something.
Man, I haven't seen Pokemon since I was like 10. Like,
I always check out the first episode of every new Pokemon just to check out like what's going on. And I don't know if you were familiar that the last Pokemon journey, Ash finally won a Pokemon League.
Oh,
that was huge.
Really?
Yeah, he finally won one. But a lot of people also discredit it and say it's kind of like when he won in the Orange Islands, because it wasn't a true full-on Pokemon League. So I'm not sure, because I only really watched like the first and to see how it all ends. But it was a pretty big deal, because like what
it only took him 20 years.
Yes, yeah, literally took this dude like over 20 years, because Pokemon the anime started in what, 98, 97 in Japan.
You're probably right. Yeah. Oh my god, it's been so long. Oh my god.
It's only the games that keep that, like, the anime has truly, and maybe it always was and we just really didn't pick up on it, but now it's definitely just straight up 100% promo for the video games until the next one comes out. Like, that's really all the Pokemon anime is. And again, maybe some people follow it or whatever. I only check out the first and last episodes. All right.
I think the last Pokemon thing I saw was that OVA that they released. That was like
the really good one.
Yeah. It was only like 3 or 4 or 5 episodes, something like that.
Yeah, with Red and okay, yeah. Yeah, that was actually really freaking good. Like, if Pokemon was like that, I think most people would say, like, even OG fans that they haven't watched Pokemon in like 20 years or something would come back.
Dude, if they released like a 26 episode series just like that, I'm in. I'm watching it. Like, that shit was good.
Did you catch the Pokemon live action by any chance?
Detective Pikachu?
That was yep. Okay, yeah, no, because I caught it way later.
I didn't watch it because just the track record of video game movies have always been like unanimously terrible, and I was like, I don't know, I don't know.
From a place,
and the way that the Pokemon looked was so fucking weird. It looks so weird.
See, with me, when I sat down to watch it, it was like a big, because I'm coming from a place of just strictly like a fun family enjoying moment, because I had like all my nieces and nephews. It was like a big family gathering, and we all had fun with it. I'm not gonna lie, like I'd be bullshitting if I said, oh, like maybe if I was to go back and watch it and look at it from a critical lens, I'd feel different about it. But as far as it being a fun family film, it definitely succeeds in that aspect. It's fun, and there's some emotional moments.
I mean, I'm sure if I saw it with like my family as well, I'd probably be like, yeah, it was a fun movie. You know, I don't think that's the type of movie that you should go into trying to analyze. Like, that's probably the wrong approach.
Yeah, like, oh man, you know, the second act they really botched the
It's like, yes, Detective Pikachu, let me analyze this. Like, fuck off.
Alrighty. Moving forward, we got Akudama Drive, delayed to October. No idea what the hell that is. Galandino, new episodes replaced with 5-episode reruns starting May 23rd. No idea what that is. Have you ever heard of Galandino?
No. And I don't think I'm gonna hear from it ever again.
First and last time with that shit.
It starts and ends with this podcast.
Then next thing you know, we're reviewing the first episode. Like, okay, so we both sat
and
down
then we're
and
like, oh, it's hype. It's hype.
No, you're missing out, Galandino. I'm gonna go get a tattoo of Galandino.
Oh, mate, I'm gonna tattoo it on my butt cheek.
I fucking love it, lad. Here's another big one. Food War Shokugeki no Soma, the 5th plate, delayed to July or later. Food War is very big. I thought that shit ended a long time ago, to be honest with you, because I think the manga ended a long time ago, so I'm shocked that it's still going.
Yeah, I thought it ended a while too. I mean, then again, mangas typically end quicker, so
yeah.
I guess it makes sense.
Food Wars, I never, I was never a fan. I'm never a fan, like, with the whole food setting, stuff like that. Again, it could be interesting characters, interesting relationships, all that jazz, but I never really gave much of a go. Although there was like one babe, I think her name was like Mikumi or something like that. Oh, she was amazing. Okay,
you seem to have a problem with food shows.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like with like a Toriko and
yeah.
I don't want to get too much into it because the Toriko fan base will come in here strapped and ready to take my head. But something about it, like I just feel like food is like not the most interesting premise to run an entire show or being a main objective of anything, unless it's like some survival, like I don't know, like a zombie apocalypse show, and then of course food becomes like a critical asset. But like I don't know. I like watching food channel food shows because like at least I feel like I'm learning something about, you know, cooking food, even though I don't really cook, but at least I feel like it, you know, or I'm learning about like how to run a restaurant or something. Yeah.
So with an anime though, it's like I don't know, like what do you do with that?
And Food Wars, I heard, was a lot of ecchi, like, you know, fan service and shit. So it'd be like tits and a meal. So I mean, I guess that's fine, but.
Well, there's a lot of meat.
Oh God, and some leg and thighs there too. Hey.
Hey.
All right. Next up, Saze-san. And I'm gonna go through a little bit of this quicker because we've been on this topic for a good majority of the podcast. Saze-san, that's like a really popular kids show. Vlad Love. I wonder if that has any relation of Vlad TV. My
No
Teen
idea.
Romantic Comedy Snafu Climax. I heard a long time ago.
I hate anime with these like long titles.
Name, yeah, like the time I fell down and broke my leg in a grass circle on May 18th. Like, yo, we get it.
Yeah.
We fucking get it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Like at least if it's like artistic sounding, like that's fine. But a lot of them is just like describing the plot.
Like, okay, and even with the artistic stuff, I have a problem with too. Like, Anohana, like the full name of Anohana is we still don't know the name of the flower we saw that day. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, no, it's Anohana.
I get that. That's still dumb, but I'd rather that than falling into an isekai world with my smartphone, I guess. How did we still have connection? I don't know.
Oh, that sounds so terrible. Oh god. All right.
How do you charge your phone?
It just
Magic.
happens. It just happens.
It just happens.
Next up is a series that did very well manga-wise, and I want to say that's due to it wrapping up. The Quintessential Quintuplets. Do you know anything about this? All I know about this show is that it sells very freaking well manga-wise. It was the third best-selling manga of the last 6 months so far.
I have never heard of this before.
I guess it hasn't reached your attention.
I guess not. Like, I will give it this though. I kind of like that the title is an alliteration. Like, oh, what is it? The whatever. Like
The Quintessential Quintuplets.
Quintessential You know what? That's at least like a catchy title. I'll give it that.
Yeah, I've seen like little art of it, and I want to say maybe it has like some good waifus. And I think, as a matter of fact, no, I do know one more thing. It's a harem, and I heard something interesting about the ending is that the main character actually picked a girl from the harem, and that's why people are like going crazy.
Well, Love Hina, main character in the end, does pick a girl.
Love Hina is legendary. That's a legendary harem. I remember I really enjoyed the anime. That was back when I was starting to get really into anime, and Love Hina was one of them, and I loved it. Like, if I ever... That's one thing. Like, I could really binge a shit ton of like shoujo and harem if I was to get back into it, because I remember when I started falling in love in anime with anime initially, it was more so for those type of shows. Like shonen, I started like I was dabbling here and there, like, oh, let me check out FMA Brotherhood, oh, let me check out Bleach, oh, and then I would always revert back, oh, but like, yo, Kodacha is so amazing, oh, I love Fruits Basket, oh my god, Love Hina and shit like that. So, the harem genre is fun.
I don't know if you noticed, but Love Hina was the first manga I ever read and finished.
Ooh. No, I didn't know that. But I mean, again, like, that's like, is that like one of the most famous harem anime of all time?
Probably. Like, it's been around for a while, so it has a legacy.
Yeah, I mean, I had a blast. I don't know, I just used to love those type of shows. Like, I even watched shit that most people never heard of, like a Suzuka, and then I think that eventually had like a spin-off or a sequel or some shit like that. But not that, I don't even know, was that a harem? I can't even remember, but I know it was like funny enough, it was a track, like, running track themed anime, but it really didn't focus much on the track. It was more so about like the relationships and like the main female being like the most terrible, oh god. So yeah, I don't know, whenever there's like a theme that isn't the most exciting, it's always a good idea to make interesting characters to make up for it. Okay, where were we? The Quintessential Quintuplets. Okay, One Piece. preparations underway behind the scenes so that the show can continue even in the current situation. So yeah, One Piece has been on hiatus. I don't got too much to say about it. Everybody knows I made like already a couple videos talking about One Piece. Yeah, it is what it is. One Piece is on break. It'll be back. I mean, it's a monster. I'm sure whatever they're airing in its place, One Piece related. There's so much One Piece. There's like 30,000 movies, like 900 freaking episodes, 900 plus episodes, specials upon specials, remakes of arcs made into OVAs. Like, they could do anything, and the fandom loves One Piece so much it'll do great. So yeah, I don't see that being a big deal.
I mean,
for One Piece.
Oda could probably just like draw an entire like page of someone taking a shit, and then the fans will be like, "Oh my God, Oda did it again!"
To be fair, I'll probably be along with them saying, "One Piece greatness! Look, Luffy really shot that turd out! Oh my God, you see that shit? This is how he's gonna conquer and become Pirate King!" One Piece is greatness, man. One day, if you're ever bored and you got like a couple months to spare, you should give it a go.
Maybe. I never say no, so I'll say maybe.
A very long stretched maybe. Oh God. Okay, One Piece Extra Olympia Kiklos resumes on June 22nd. No idea what's that. Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s. I can't believe there's still more Yu-Gi-Oh!
Still?
That's the latest one. I'm not gonna lie, I think the last one that I checked out an episode of was Yu-Gi-Oh! Xiao, and yeah, it was, I ain't gonna lie, I had a fun time with it because it was reminiscent of the original Yu-Gi-Oh! But Yu-Gi-Oh! the last, no, I'm lying. The last encounter I had with Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime wise was the movie that they put out in theaters of the original Yu-Gi-Oh! That shit, I had a blast just because it was so nostalgic filled. I loved the nostalgia, hit heavy.
Yeah, I used to watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Back in the day, and I also really loved Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged by Lil Karibo. That was awesome.
Yeah, I seen a couple episodes of that. That was big, yeah.
Yeah. But I think the last actual like Yu-Gi-Oh! Thing I saw was a friend of mine wanted me to watch Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, I think it is. That's
Card
the
games
one where,
on motorcycles.
Yeah. I don't know why. He just wanted me to watch an episode of that. So I did. And I was like, I think I'm good.
Yeah, I heard, funny enough, there's a big fandom for 5Ds. Like, after 5Ds, I don't see very, very big fandoms, but when it comes to 5Ds, I've heard actually a lot of good things, and that the card games on motorcycles, yeah, it's a ridiculous concept, but that it's actually really good. So I don't want to completely shit on it because I've heard a very...
What? Yeah. When I say like, oh, I'm good, not because I thought like, oh my God, what is this trash, but just because like, it was kind of entertaining in like a weird over-the-top sort of way, but like, that's not really my jam, you know? Like,
to be fair, if we could put up with Gurren Lagann throwing like galaxies back and forth, I think we could put up with some cards on motorcycles.
Hey, Gurren Lagann is the fucking shit though. Like,
oh no, yeah, Tengen top of Gurren Lagann, baby. Believe in the you that believes in me, fam.
Kaminam.
Yeah. Okay.
Greatness.
Gundam Build Divers Re-Rise Season 2. Jeez, there's a lot of Gundam.
Man, I'm a Gundam fan, and even just hearing you say that makes me want to barf.
They really have milked the franchise for everything the last even decade, I want to say. Like, they stopped putting the focus on like the serious what is it called, the timeline, the universe,
Universal Century.
The Universal Century, that was like the big deal, but they've cut all, like, that's not really a big thing anymore, right? They don't focus on that anymore.
They were making the Gundam The Origin movies, and I don't know if they're still working on that, but that was like the last thing they did.
That was
and which was really good. Like, I saw the first one, and it was amazing. Like,
my favorite Gundam that they it's the short OVA War in the Pocket. I want to say they actually re-released it on Blu-ray recently, and I was really excited. Yeah, I want to get that.
And I already got it, so you better get on that.
Oh man, I ain't gonna lie, War in the Pocket, that was the shit. It's a small little compressed, like if you want to, like, my opinion, if you could tolerate, because there's some people that they can't get into older anime, it is what it is, whatever, that's your thing. But if you want to give the Gundam franchise a try, and you want to check out something, and you're fine with watching older animation and shit like that, give War in the Pocket, I think it's what, 0083 or 0080?
Yeah, no, yeah, 0080. 83 is something else. That's Stardust Memory. I don't recommend Stardust Memory personally.
No. War in the Pocket. War in the Pocket. Give that a go. If you enjoy that, you might enjoy more Gundam. Because, like, Wing, I could watch Wing. What's the other really popular Gundam? Double O?
Double O. Gundam 00 is also really good.
Yeah,
I would say if you're someone that you have a hard time getting to older anime, but you want to give Gundam a shot, give Gundam Thunderbolt a try. It's only like an hour long, and it's fucking awesome.
I've never even heard of Gundam Thunderbolt. That's crazy.
I think you should give it a shot. Like I said, it's like an hour. And
it's not like Build Fighters and all that, is it?
No. This is Universal Century.
Oh, okay, yeah, because Build Fighters, like, all that stuff, like, that looks too... Like, Build Fighters, and not to discredit this franchise, because I absolutely love it, great fond memories, but it seems like a more kiddier version of the Gundam franchise, like what Mega Man did when it went from, like, you know, Mega Man X, to the Battle Network series, where it was just like these digital little fights and shit like that. Again, I love the Battle Network series. Very nostalgic. I could right now hum the whole tune to the opening song for Battle Network 3, the video game. I'm not shitting on that by any means, but it seems like they took a more like pulling back approach and kind of went in that direction.
Like, yeah, the Build Fighter stuff is appealing to people that are really into building the model kits. And they kind of like they fantasize it in a way, like, I guess that's not the right word, but they kind of like...
They fantasize about the model kits?
a little bit, you know? Like, what they do is, like, the premise of... Because I saw, like, most of the first season of the very first Build Fighters.
Yeah.
And what it is, it's like, okay, you build the model kit, and then you have like a simulation where they actually start fighting each other, and then the animation is actually really good, and it looks like you're watching like OG Gundam fights, and it's like these crazy battles. But like, that's like the best part of the show, but then everything else is garbage. It's just like these like little kids, these dumb characters you don't give a fuck about, and just like yeah.
So yeah,
I don't really
Build
recommend
Divers.
Yeah. Unless all you care about is you just want high quality animation fights. If that's like literally the only thing you care about, then yeah, watch it. You'll get that. As a Gundam fan, like, I did get some enjoyment out of it, seeing like some really good Gundam fights, but aside from that, it's garbage.
No, that's a shame, because the Gundam, well, then again, I guess it's becoming the victim of it. Got really mainstream and popular, and then they just said, let's just milk it for all we can and put out all these random ass shows, which not far off from what they're doing with a lot of, like, look at Fate, which I'm not sure we're gonna get to that topic today, because we're already at
not today.
Yeah, but
we'll have plenty of time to talk about that in the future.
Yeah, I didn't expect for us to go on this long with this list, but there's a lot of shit that we've been covering. So let's keep going. So it was Gundam, Black Clover. Very, very bummed. That's one of my weekly pleasures. I love the Black Clover anime, for better or worse. I always say it's like the second coming of Naruto to me in a lot of ways. The feelings of, the rags to riches story, being like called worthless, useless, all of that shit, and making it from the dirt on your own merit, pulling yourself up by your own bootstraps, so to speak. I love Black Clover, and I can't wait for it to come back whenever it comes back.
Cool.
We got Girl Gaku, say girls, square Gakuin. Okay, whatever. Yeah, change the name. Change the name. Chibi Maruko-chan, Kingdom Season 3. I wonder with the new Kingdom anime, if they're still going to do the CGI. Like, one of the things I held back Kingdom...
That was the first thing I thought when you brought up Kingdom. I'm like, it better not still be CG.
Like, come on, bro. Like, why Berserk and Kingdom have to get these CGI disgusting treatments? Like, what the hell?
Don't even mention Berserk. Oh my god.
Yeah, that we could go on a whole. That could be a podcast. That will be in the future. Just to make a mental note, and anybody that's watching up to this point, remind us in the future, when are we gonna get the Berserk cast? Because we are going to do at the very least one full-blown episode discussing Berserk, discussing the tragedies of the anime, discussing the story. Well, there might be multiple casts, man. There's so much to talk about with Berserk. So just remind us in the comments.
The Berserk. Berserk cast anthology.
Yeah, that'll be a long cast, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So Kingdom Season 3, we don't know what that'll be. Kirato Pre-chan, no idea. Mashin Eiyuden Wataru Shichi Tamashi no Ryujin Maru. I wish I was making this up.
Okay.
The Irregular at Magic High School Season 2. This one's a bummer. The Promised Neverland Season 2. Season 1 was amazing. The manga's wrapping up. I'm just hoping that, first of all, they're using this time to make it look gorgeous, all that jazz, but also that they adapt the entirety of the manga with this next season, and it's not another 12 episode jammy. Give us, which there's so many chapters at this point. They're like, what, 170, 80 deep, maybe more than that. I'm hoping that it's a 4-core series, like, to wrap it all up, which I highly doubt they'll do that. At best, I could see 24, but give us, like, two cores back to back, take a break, and give us 2 more cores and call it a day, so we could get a full-on adaptation. Will they do that? I don't know. They could go the anime-only direction. I don't know, but you've seen Promised Neverland, right?
I've heard of it. I haven't watched it.
I recommend it. It's shonen, but it's a different type of shonen. Pretty dark. A lot of people...
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about it.
It's baby Death Note. That's what I like to call it.
I haven't heard that. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. The Millionaire Detective, Balance Unlimited, Boruto, Naruto Next Generations, that probably did wonders, hopefully, for the Boruto anime, because Boruto anime, at times, like, the Boruto anime, at its worst, it's like pulling your pubic hairs off with a monkey wrench.
That's a fucking visual.
and at best, it's freaking awesome and can feel like, oh, okay, this is like the continuation I wanted. Always tell anybody that's interested, like, oh, I wonder what the adventures of the Naruto world is going on. Go with the manga all day, every day. But if you do enjoy it, yeah, it'll eventually come back, but it's on break. Digimon Adventure, Healing Good, Procure, Pocket Monsters. I think that's the full-on Pokemon anime with Ash. Appare Ranman, Diary of Our Days at the Breakwater, Idolish 7-Second Beat, Sword Art Online, Alicization, War of Underworld Part 2, delayed to July. That one in particular, I'm shocked that they really went all out with this. Like, how much of this anime, like, this shit is what, like 50 episodes or more?
Of that, like, specific series? Or do you mean Sword Art in general?
No, this one, Alicization, War of Underworld. This is a long one, right?
Damn. That's... I mean, I'm shocked SAO is still kind of going, but...
No, I mean, back in the day, funny enough, like, because I remember I was doing this when SAO came out. That was, for a lot of people, their gateway anime. Like, that was a Naruto in a sense for a lot of people. Like, a lot of people got into anime via SAO at the time. That was when...
No, yeah, I believe that. Yeah. It was really, really popular when it first came out.
And it catapulted the isekai, not franchise, genre.
I remember it. I remember it was SAO, and then right afterwards, it was Attack on Titan.
Yeah, and then Attack on Titan stole its thunder.
Punch.
Yeah.
And it was a 1-2 punch. Attack on Titan, like, exploded with popularity.
I credit those two series for the beginning of the end of ongoing, full-blown 200-episode anime. Like, I credit the popularity of seasonal anime becoming more of a thing to series like those two, because those two show that you can drop 24 episodes and make just as much money and make just as much of an impact as a series that is 100 episodes deep, 200 episodes deep.
No, that makes sense.
Okay, No Guns Life, that shit, I watched like 5 episodes. So trippy, like this dude walking around with a giant gun for a head.
What?
Yeah, that shit, it's I think you'd honestly enjoy it. I don't know what genre it is. It feels more like a seinen, but I could be wrong, because like dude is like a smoker, and he's like cigarettes is a big deal to this dude. Like, there's a whole episode where he's like going through a living hell just to get his random cigarettes. It's really fucking weird, but it's enjoyable.
No Guns Life?
Yeah.
Okay.
Another one, Anpanman, A3 season, autumn and winter, A3 season, spring and summer, number 24. ReZero, Starting Life in Another World, second season. I'm really anticipating that. I loved ReZero season 1. I'm really interested to see where the story's gonna go. It's been 4 years, I want to say. I'm looking forward to this one very heavy.
You want to know something funny?
Hmm.
I didn't see that show, but you know who did?
Who?
My dad.
Did he? Who would he say is best gal? Do you know?
I would need to ask him, but he did like it.
There was Rem, which Rem was best gal, and Amelia, I want to say, was the other chick, and it was back and forth. Rem, I still to this day, Rem was my ride or die. I love Rem, and I need to brush
That's
up
a
on that.
blue-haired girl.
Yeah, I need to. She was like the maid. She like, yeah, she was a maid.
I remember there was so much art of her. Like, even to this day, sometimes I'll scroll through Twitter, and then there'll just be like artwork of her. Like, people love that chick.
Yeah, no, she was like, you gotta watch it to understand why people love her so much. It was insane.
Yeah, like I know people that, even people that don't like the show will be like, yeah, but I like her. Like,
yeah,
like, that's how much of an impact she's had.
She went through a living hell for this character. What was it? I can't even remember the main character. I watch too much anime and manga. People always be like, oh man, Fornev, how do you remember? Like, fam, if you look at my anime belt, it goes very, very deep, okay?
There's too many notches.
It's ridiculous. Okay, so then to wrap up the anime, Tsukiuta, the Animation 2, The Misfit of Demon King Academy, and Infinite Dendrogram. Now, because we're running out of time, because we're trying to keep, at the least for the first episode, we're going to go roughly into the hour mark. We had so much other planned, but I didn't realize it was going to go this long. What we'll do is, I'm going to run through the animated films. We're going to get to the one that I know you really want to talk about, and we'll save the rest of the stuff and the other topics for the next episode. Sound cool?
Sounds good.
Shintai?
No, yes, that sounds good.
Okay, sweet. All right, okay, so let's run through this. Animated films. Monster Strike the Movie, Lucifer, Zetsubo no Yoake, Sayonara Tyranno, Geki Joban, Pocket Monster Coco, Eiga Soreke, Anpanman Fuwa Fuwa Fuwari to Kumo no Kuni. Oh shit, I can't make this up, I swear. Shoujo Kageki Revu Starlight Rondo Rondo Rondo. You got enough Rondo there? Shoujo Kageki Revu Starlight Rondo Rondo. Okay, no, that's the same one. Okay. A whisker away. Nakitai Watashi wa no Neko o Kaburu. Ega Precure Miracle Leap. Mina to Fushigi na One Nichi. Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 Thrice Upon a Time. No idea what's that. Love Me Not. Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop. Given. Happy Go Lucky Days. Fate. We'll get to that in a second. Butt Detective Tento Mushi. Iseki no Nazo. Fushigi Dagashiya. Zenit Tendo. Suri Taiyaki. And to be honest with you, I'm just going to finish reading off this list because I started it, but yeah. Recycle Zoo Mamore Mokuyobi wa Shigen Gomi no Hi. Violet Evergarden. Detective Conan the Scarlet Bullet. I love Detective Conan. Eiga Crayon Shin-chan. Okay, I'm just not reading the rest of it. Crayon Shin-chan. Princess Principal Crown Handler. Stand By Me Doraemon 2. Another Doraemon film. Looking for Magical Doremi. And Shimajiro to Sora Tobu Fune. Yeah. Thank me later, people. I read it all. Okay, all the anime. But going back to
we made it.
Yeah. The wrap up. Fate Stay Night Heaven's Field 3 Spring Song. Delayed again until further notice. React, Shintai, react.
Ah! Give me my movie.
Oh man.
Yo, I legit have both movies on Blu-ray because I'm that much of a fan. Just give me my fucking movie. Like I literally have an empty spot, you know, in my room on my my little area where I have all my Fate stuff. There's a spot missing for that movie. Give me my movie.
Yo, it's crazy because anybody goes back, I want to say you were with me for my movie 1 review that I did when movie 1 dropped, and that's probably one of the best looking anime films I've ever seen. That got to be top 20 at the very least. And
I rewatched it recently. It's still fucking great. It's still a great movie.
Here's an interesting question I want to throw to you.
Okay.
How much more you think Ufotable is going to have involvement with the Fate franchise after this film, considering they've done, this will be the finale to all the routes. They've unless they went back and did the what is it, the Fate route, right? Yeah, the first route.
And yeah, I mean that would be the only thing they could really do, is to go back and do the Fate route proper. But I don't know, this might be maybe not the end, but they did all the big stuff. There's not much left.
And
maybe they could do Tsukihime.
Oh, but maybe that's not Fate. That's a different property of what do they call it? Type Moon.
Type Moon, yeah. That's not Fate, but it is in the same universe, similar to Kara no Kyokai, which was also done by Ufotable, and it also takes place in that same universe, even if it's not specifically Fate.
Yeah,
but aside from that, I don't know. I don't think there's anything else.
And you got to look at it from a business perspective too, because now they're heavily invested in Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer just did 10 times more manga sales, and we'll talk about this probably on the next podcast, than One Piece.
That's crazy.
Shueisha.
That's unheard of.
It never happened. This has never happened before. As a matter of fact, in 6 months, Demon Slayer has broken the record for most manga sold in a year, in only 6 months.
That's insane. Because One Piece has been number one for so long, it's almost a given. So for something to dethrone it that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, and you got to think that Shueisha right now is probably waving fans of money at Ufotable, like, please just keep more Demon Slayer anime. Like, they're working on the Infinite Train movie right now, which I'm wondering how that's going to affect the Fate movie, considering like they're working on 2 projects and they got to split staff. And you know, a lot of this, you got to think about it, these are human beings behind this. Like, this is the talented staff that they're moving they're moving around between the Fate film and Demon Slayer and whatever else they're going to do with Demon Slayer. So I'm interested to see. Like, there's also Prototype. They could also take a stab at doing Prototype at some given point down the road.
That's true. They could do Prototype. I don't know though, because it doesn't look like Nasu himself wants to do it. Like, because for him that was like this. That was like what Fate was going to be before he changed it. So it would be like if someone came to you and like you had come up with like a rough draft, right? And then, you know, you didn't even finish the rough draft and you're like, oh, I'm not satisfied with this. And then you start over and then you try again. Like, it would be like if someone came to you and be like, no, go back to that rough draft and finish it. So
that's true.
I think that's how it would feel like for Nasu. And that's probably why he wouldn't. Maybe, I think he would be okay with someone else taking it and finishing it, but then it's not going to be the same. Like, I want him to do it.
Urobuchi, baby. Urobuchi.
Maybe, you know, I wouldn't be against that. I wouldn't.
Oh, man. That'd be amazing. So, yeah. People, this was episode 1 of the ForneverWorld podcast. Let us know your thoughts on it. Any improvements you would like to see made. Any topics you want us to talk about. It doesn't have to be of the weekly stuff that I talk about. It could be of the wide variety of anime topics or news articles out there. We'll talk about anything that we're familiar with or we're excited to talk about. I want to send a big thank you to Shintai for joining me on this adventure, and I'm hoping for many more of these to come. I had an incredible time doing this, and yeah, any final thoughts, Shintai?
Fate for life.
Yeah, people, that's it. I'm ForneverWorld, he's Shintai, and as always, people, have an awesome day, and thanks for tuning in to the ForneverWorld podcast, episode 1, baby.
Take care.